Hello, I am your favorite sexpert, the Erica Rivera, and you're watching Sexpertease, the sex positive educational show where we aim towards keeping marriages exciting and single people safe. Have you ever wondered how comedy and sexual health blend together? Can they blend together? Well, we have a special guest who's going to talk about that with us today. You may have seen him in The Beach Bum with Matthew McConaughey and several national commercials. His name is Ali Flores, our comedic actor of the day. Let's bring him on. Hey, Ali.
Hey, how are you?
How are you? Thank you for being here.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. I'm happy to be here. I'm excited.
I'm so excited to talk to you about this topic of comedy and sexual health. A lot of times people don't think that the two go together, although
Right.
I think it does. I think it does. That's why you're here. So let's enlighten our audience. As a comedian,
Mhm.
you often have to tackle a wide range of topics on stage. How do you incorporate sex and relationships into your routines? And what reactions do you normally get?
Well, when I first started doing comedy, it was 15 years ago, so I was still married at the time. So I would discuss marriage, the ins and outs of marriage. And I remember when I was talking about that, we would talk about keeping things spicy. I used to have that in my act. And just simple text messages throughout the day, and then I'd make a joke about that, being at work. And I used to work at Disney, so getting a sexual text message while I'm at work at Disney, and I'm like, "Ooh," because I knew Mickey was watching. Okay, so,
Time to hide.
so yeah, so I would, we would do that, and then now I just got engaged, and
Congratulations.
thank you very
That's
much.
amazing.
And I've got a kid that is about to be 18, just graduated high school.
Wow.
So now my material has to do with the dating aspect, and now that I'm engaged, I'm going to talk about being engaged,
Mm.
and then being a single dad, essentially, to a non-binary child. So
Right, right. How does your audience normally respond to some of your material?
it's hit or miss. A lot of times, like, audiences are strange because it may look like a certain audience is only going to appreciate this type of comedy or that type of comedy, and then you go out there and they love your brand of comedy.
Mm,
And one of the things I tell a lot of younger comics, I'm like, listen, it has nothing to do with the audience. They love comedy. Funny
right,
is funny,
right.
regardless of whether or not you talk about things that they don't necessarily agree with. They're still going to laugh.
That's true. That's true. And the fact that you've used every stage in your relationships and discussing that on stage, has that helped you navigate some of the things that you go through, either in marriage, in dating, etc.?
You'll hear a lot of comedians talk about how it's therapy,
Hmm.
being up on stage. Honestly, being able to make light of certain situations that are going on with my relationship, either with my kid or, the person I'm with, um, makes it easier for me to go home and not be a smart aleck to them because I got that out. I got it out on
Ah,
stage.
that's a really good point. And you had mentioned your non-binary team.
Mhm.
Parenting is obviously an adventure, many ups and downs and in-betweens. What's it like, or what are some funny and memorable experiences that you've had with your non-binary teen?
Well, I think my favorite moment is when they came out as lesbian in the sixth grade.
Oh, wow.
And
Yeah.
so we were like, okay. And I just asked, I said, okay, great. How do you know? How do you feel? What are you feeling? I said,
Mm,
is this a real feeling, or is this something that you have some friends that are gay and you want to be gay with them? We all do that. We all want to be a part of the group. And she says, no, I love my friends. And I said, okay. I said, I love my friends. Do you want to hold hands with your friends? No. Do you want to kiss your friends? No. Do you want to do anything but talk to your friends? No. Let's hold off on coming out yet. I think you just really love your friends. I said, I love my friends. I said, but understand, if you come out, I said, I'm all about it. I was like,
right.
I'm 100% behind you. I just want you to be sure this is what you're feeling and not what you feel you should be feeling. If that makes any
Right.
sense.
No, that totally makes sense. I think how you approached the conversation was really smart too, that you spoke to them about their feelings without any judgment. Whereas, most people in the LGBT community that I've spoken to, some of them don't have that kind of story.
Mhm.
They feel that judgment right off the bat. So I think it was really, really good that you put it into perspective of, hey, do you want to hold hands? What is it that you're feeling? I love my friends too. You made it relatable, and I really admire that. So when did they eventually come out as not as officially non-binary, and how did that conversation go? I'm sure once she was a little bit older,
Yeah, freshman year,
a
right around
freshman
freshman year. And honestly, the conversation, it wasn't like in the sixth grade where, Dad, I have something to say.
year.
It
Right.
was just, I noticed them using they, them pronouns and stuff. I was like, hmm. And that's when we just had the conversation. And they were like, yeah, I'm aromantic and asexual, non-binary. I don't really care about anything. And I said, what do you mean? She goes, any gender, how
Right.
anyone identifies, I'm not romantically inclined. Does not bother me. So I feel I'm they, them. I'm just kind of aromantic, asexual. And like I got really teary eyed because I knew I wouldn't have to pay for a wedding now. So I'm like, yes, this is great.
You're like, yep.
What's funny is as soon as they did that, they came out to me. I said, let's make a video. We're going to make a TikTok video. And I told that joke. I created that joke right then with them. And they're next to me like, Dad.
It's true though. You can use that money for something else. That's great. So, and speaking of breaking, that's how you break the ice. Humor is a great way to discuss those topics. Other than that one, are there any other jokes that are like your go-to to start a conversation about gender identity or about sex or something that may be uncomfortable?
I don't really talk about like, I guess, sex per
Mm.
se, unless it's like a story of mine.
Okay.
I talk about my own things.
Yeah.
The only stuff when I talk about my kid, I talk about obviously about being, gender neutral, non-binary, just, and
Yeah.
I'll say those things and explain to some people because a lot of people just don't know. They don't know what it means.
Right.
And I have zero problem going, hey, so explain this to me.
Yeah.
How do you feel about this? So I can know.
So you
So
learned a lot from them, from your
yeah,
child. You
yeah,
know, that's great that you were able to get that knowledge. It was the other way around.
yeah. No, it was really great. And one of their best friends has is transitioning to is female to male,
Okay.
and love this guy to death. Best friend my kid could have ever had.
Oh,
Um, and yeah, oh, whenever my kid is going through like really tough times, like we went through a time where they attempted to take their own life,
oh God.
and Bones was like one of the first people there to support and all of that. So it was we were very lucky to have him in their life.
I think that's so important to have that support, not just from friends, but family. They're very lucky to have parents that are supportive and friends that are supportive. For those that are watching or listening, that support is invaluable.
Mhm.
So I'm sorry that they went through that, but I'm really glad that they've come out on the other side. Obviously,
Yeah,
much stronger in who they are.
yeah, they busted their butt, and we didn't think graduation was going to be a possibility because it basically took a year off of
Oh,
school,
okay.
and also going through the pandemic, having
Yeah.
to go deal with that, and then dealing with going having to go away for a little bit. Um, we didn't think it was going to happen. They busted their butt and graduated, so we couldn't be prouder.
Well, good news all around for them,
Yeah,
for your engagement,
yeah.
etc. Well, and speaking of the engagement, your work-life balance, touring as a comedian, I'm sure can be very demanding. So,
Mhm.
how do you manage the balance between being a comic and being a professional and finding time for your partner?
It does become challenging. It's finding those moments, honestly, that where you go, you know what, I could really use some rest right now,
Yeah.
maybe some me time, but then go, wait, have we had we time? Have we done that yet? Um, and then just making that little sacrifice because it doesn't take a lot, just an hour. Let's watch a TV show together. let's spend that quality time together. Um, but yeah, it gets difficult when you're on the road Thursday through Sunday, red eye back on Monday and then go into work. I used to have a
Oh,
day job where I was working Monday through Friday at Disney performing, and there were times I would fly in on a red eye
yeah.
Sunday night, get to the airport right around 6 a.m., go home, shower, and then go straight to work. Like it would be, and then and that would be, months in a row. Like it would just be
That's
the rotation.
that is intense. That is intense. Are there any takeaways from your previous marriage that you feel are you're using now in your current relationship as far as like
Oh,
learning those things, like the balance?
yeah.
Yeah.
All of the takeaways.
All of the
Yeah, all of
takeaways.
it. I was a horrible husband, and I
Oh
tell
my
my
God.
ex-wife this all the time. I was like, "You should not have married me." Like oh my God, because I was um, when we got engaged, I was 24 years old. I was working at City Walk as a host, like they called us EJs, so we were
Okay.
the entertainment host, DJs without DJs. So we would entertain, we would hang out with celebrities, we would bring people into the clubs, and we were getting paid way more than any actor at Universal was. They
Mm,
actually considered us management because we were making them money by bringing people into the clubs.
right, right.
It was the closest thing to being a rock star. I was out till 5 o'clock in the morning constantly because I didn't get off work until 2.
Wow.
So I didn't come into work until 4. So it was just, this is my day. This is how I do it. And there were so many times like I'm finding myself, with random celebrities and all this stuff. And then I see two women going at it on the couch. And I'm like, I'm married. I should not be here. I mean, I'm not leaving, but I shouldn't be here.
But I'm
But
not leaving.
no, we didn't have camera phones at that point. It was just memory. I'm just, yes, 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 yes.
Mental note,
Right. Yes,
mental note.
this is nice.
So, I'm assuming this went on for a bit then.
Yeah. That was
Um,
we were there for a while, and then yeah, and then things happen in the marriage, but it was mostly my fault. Like I was not a good husband.
right,
But
right.
all those lessons were with my ex-wife. I don't feel I ever fully committed. Like I've had so many walls
Uh-huh.
up, just from growing up and not trusting people and fear of abandonment and all that stuff, and I never let my walls down, my fully.
Understood, understood. So you kind of always felt like when is the shoe going to drop, so to
Hmm.
speak. So you kind
Yeah,
of yeah.
I always stayed guarded and I never fully committed
Okay.
100%. And then so ever since, my marriage ended, that was one takeaway. The other one was fighting the ADHD.
Mm,
Um, of course, I didn't know this at the time that it was a symptom of this was the quick reaction. If anyone were to say anything to me that upset me, it was quick and
okay.
and biting like sharp. And that would happen with my ex-wife as well. So now it's like, take a breath,
Yeah.
let's and a lot of therapy as well, just going, all right, let me look at
Hard.
your side. What are you feeling? You're not really angry with me. What's the situation? What other thing happened that is causing this reaction? So it would be, I take a breath now.
Okay. Oh, I those are really big takeaways, especially with the ADHD. I had no idea that that was one of the symptoms.
I didn't know that until recently. I was like, this explains a lot.
Okay. So that's great. So obviously getting divorced is not fun, but
Mhm.
the fact that you kind of have a silver lining, you've learned a lot about how to strengthen this upcoming marriage that you are going to be in. How does your future wife feel about your professional life and what are some communication skills that the two of you practice when it comes to finding that time together and apart?
Yeah. Super excited. She is the most supportive person I've ever met. Like she could do my act. She could do the hour and a half that I have of my material. She could probably do it verbatim. Like she's seen almost every show that I do, like all the time she's there. But super supportive. She advertises for me, pushes all my shows and makes sure people are there. So she's really excited because she's got a real job.
Mm,
I'm a performer entertainer and that's how I make my money.
right.
And she's got a legit, she works as a project manager for construction. Not
Okay.
a very exciting job,
Mm,
not a lot of laughs.
mm.
Um, and so I think we balance each other out in that way that Like she's got the grounded gig, I've got the up in the air crazy gig, you know. So yeah, I think we balance each other out that way.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, especially with your job, I'm sure you get a lot of like fans who want to take pictures and get
Mhm.
your attention after shows and things like that. Has that ever affected the two of you, or is that something that she's like, I realize this comes with the territory and, it's all good?
In the beginning, I think when we first started dating, it was a little bit of a thing, but then she got it.
Okay.
It's not as like, yes, I take pictures with attractive people, but it's not just attractive women. You know, there are just everybody. I take pictures with
Everyone.
everybody that wants to come up here. You know what I mean? There's attractive guys. You know, it's like it's just part of it. And the more she saw that, it's like, oh, it's not a flirty thing. It's a hey, oh yeah, yeah. Don't forget to tag me. It's marketing. It's
It's
all
marketing.
marketing.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's amazing. I'm just so happy for you. Do you have any advice for our audience as far as either parental advice when having that talk with perhaps a child in the
Mhm.
LGBTQ community, as well as balancing that work life situation with a partner, learning how to communicate effectively, learning how to take a breath? Do you have any takeaways for the audience that may be going through the same thing as you?
Yeah. As far as parenting any child, regardless of if they're non-binary, asexual, heterosexual, whatever, always come at it with validation. And what I mean by that is their feelings are valid. It doesn't matter if they're 12. It doesn't matter if they're 11. They're feeling what they're feeling and allow them to feel that. No judgment. To quote the great philosopher Ted Lasso,
I love Ted Lasso.
be curious, not judgmental. So be curious with your kids. Ask and just ask what it means. Even if you come from a place like I came from a small migrant farm working town,
Mhm.
um, where it was a no. If anybody came, like no one came out ever. Like it
Right.
was a thing. Um, and I think if anybody were to just go explain this to me, what you're feeling, I think more people, especially back then, would have been a little bit more, tolerant and accepting.
Absolutely, absolutely. The part where you said stay curious, I actually say that here. I say stay curious, stay informed, and stay
Hmm.
you. But that curiosity, in both scenarios, with your children, with your partner, you were talking about how your future wife, she goes to all of your shows, she's
Hmm.
able to pretty much recite your bits.
Hmm.
Um, I always emphasize, especially with clients, that if you want your partner to be in the mood, because this is Sexpertise after all,
Yeah.
you have to show interest in what your partner is interested in.
Yes.
I hear so much from people like clients that I have worked with that may be going through some issues in their marriage. Nine times out of 10, it's because they simply did not show an interest or a curiosity in something that
Hmm.
they were passionate about. And it does go the same situation with your kids having a relationship with your children regardless, like you said, of
Hmm.
if they're in the community or not. If you want to have that good rapport, ask them questions.
Hmm. Yeah. And here's something when you're talking about like keeping it spicy or anything like that. This is my favorite thing, and I want to write a book, and I want to do it
Okay.
this way. But this is my rules. So I'm an improv performer. I've done improv comedy for gosh most of my adult life. Um, so I know them, and there are 5 basic rules that I keep. Now, if you were to include that into your normal life or your sex life, your relationships, you're going to be golden. Number one, commit fully. Commit fully to that.
Met fully.
Boom. Number two, yes and. So you don't negate, hey, you want to try this? Yeah. And maybe we'll try this one next time. Sure. Now you're adding on to it. So
Mhm.
you're accepting it. You're not judging. Don't negate. That's the third one, which is, hey, can we try this? I'd like to. No, because now there's nothing. It is a hold
That's it.
stop. Yeah. So go back to that. Yes and. Number four, make your partner look good. Always make your partner look good. Don't try to be the star. Don't try to you don't always have to be right. Like just make your partner look good. So if you're in the mood and this is something that they're going to enjoy, make it about them every now and then. Like make them
Right.
look good. And then number 5, and it's the most important one, have fun.
Have fun. yeah, some people really do forget that sex should be fun.
Yeah, yeah.
It's kind of funny to me. And yeah, I love that. The negating is a big part. The second you say no, man, that person will never feel comfortable asking you about that ever again. Like,
Any other thing either, not just that,
that's true. That's
but
true.
anything that might be different outside of missionary. It's like, nope, I'm not going to ask because I'm just going to get shut down.
Yeah, yeah. And I laugh, but it is serious. The
Mhm.
biggest two reasons why people divorce normally, statistically, is sex and finances. And a lot of those rules that you brought up are a lot of reasons that I've heard in my own office. And it makes me really sad. I feel like sex should be pleasure based. I've met a lot of couples that they had sex to procreate and like that was it.
Mhm.
And I'm
I
like, no, no,
I
that's
can't get
not
that. I don't
what.
get that. I was like, I don't get that. I'm like, what?
Right. Right. And I'm like, wait, no, no, that's not
Yeah.
it's sexual health. Health is a big part. We go
Hmm.
to the doctor to take care of our physical health. We see a therapist to take care of our mental health. Your sexual health is just as important.
Yes,
So,
very much so.
yeah.
And you mentioned that the number two reasons for divorce is sex and finances.
Finance.
So if you are in a committed relationship, why not pay for the sex with your partner? Now it knocks out both of those.
And not,
Your finances are going, you're having sex, no divorce.
no divorce. Two and one taken care of. That's amazing.
Just a tip for job well done.
Just the tip. Remember that.
Nice.
I'm sorry. I'm like that's where
No,
my
it's great.
brain goes every time someone
Me
says just
too.
the tip. I'm like, yes.
Yeah, there we are.
No,
Have
this
you
is
ever laughed? Like, I'm enjoying this. You ever laughed while having sex?
oh, I think yes, I have.
I have too.
I have.
Not laughing at anyone,
No.
but like,
No.
certain noises happen or a bead of sweat drops, and it's just like you start giggling and you don't stop though. I remember
Yeah, yeah.
vividly my current fiance and I laughed so hard. We didn't stop, but we were both laughing. And then we started laughing because we weren't stopping.
That it's a good thing you didn't stop.
Yeah. Like, but we just kept giggling and laughing. I was like, yeah, it wasn't crazy and wild sex, but it was probably one of my most favorite nights of sex.
Yeah, that was why I laughed was a particular noise and I couldn't help it. Thankfully they took it well and they laughed with me.
Hmm.
But I did have a scenario, and maybe you've had the same thing happen to you where it didn't go so smoothly and it was like, oh, the moment is now
Oh yeah.
gone because I giggled. I am so sorry.
Oh, with that.
Like, I
Yeah,
mean,
I've never done that. I've fallen asleep.
you fell asleep.
Okay, so I was in college at the time and I was playing baseball. And so I had to wake up at like 4 o'clock in the morning to go running and then go to class, then go to practice. And then I was also cast to play. So I'd have rehearsals at night. So the girl I was dating came to my dorm room after that long day, take a shower, and she starts, going down. And I'm like, okay, this is great. I wake up, she's in the corner like this.
Oh my
And I went,
goodness.
oh no. She goes, I thought you were really enjoying it. You were breathing really hard. And then you started snoring.
That's that is so much worse than me laughing.
I said, I'm
That is
so sorry. I'm so sorry. It's been I'm so exhausted. It felt great. You were relaxing me. And it just,
good comeback. If you were relaxing me.
I had to do something. I felt so
That's
bad.
great. But the moral of the story is humor and sex, they do go together. It's
Mhm.
the whole point is to have fun. It really is. You build that connection with your partner and just laugh together. Like, don't take it
Yeah.
so seriously. Like I mentioned earlier, with my situation, this person was very, I guess, insecure. So they thought I
Okay.
was laughing at them. and it
Right.
became this whole thing. And so, my advice, of course, is yeah, like you said, have a good time. It's
Hmm.
meant to be pleasure based. It's
Yeah.
it's not just for procreation.
Not at
It's not that
all.
serious, guys. It's not that
No.
serious.
Although we do put a lot of pressure on ourselves.
We do, and it should just be a good time. As
Mhm.
long as both or multiple people are
Mhm.
enjoying each other's company, really it doesn't matter. And it doesn't always have to be sex. Intimacy has so many different forms.
Yeah,
It also does not have to be sexual in that way.
exactly.
That's a misconception that I hear a lot of is, well, I don't want to have sex with them. I want to, I'm like, you don't have to. There's so many different ways that you
Mhm.
guys can meet in the middle.
Yep.
So I don't know. This has been absolutely hilarious. Thank you
Thank
so much for joining us. I really appreciate you being here.
thank
And I'm
you.
going to go ahead and let everyone know how they can find you. All socials, correct?
All socials. A
All of
Ali
them.
Flores comedy.
Awesome. Awesome. Please follow Ali. He is very, very funny, especially your TikToks. I love them so
Thank
much.
you.
Especially Sacrilegious Sundays. That's my favorite. So this has been amazing. Thank you everyone for joining us on Sexpertise, and we will see you next time. Like I said before, stay curious, stay informed, and stay you. Bye, everyone.